Caroline Swords, welcome to Anne Chats. You're one of the most fascinating people I know. The way you relate to the world really interests me, and I find you very inspiring. Tell us about Caroline Swords.
Oh, Christ. Okay, that's quite a question. Hi, Anne. I find you inspiring.
Oh,
you were on my podcast. I had a brief podcast that I'm always threatening to bring back.
that was before lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was like 2019, I think.
Wow, yeah.
We've been friends for maybe 10 years. I know because I looked at my email to find out how long we've been friends.
Yeah.
But am I fascinating? I don't know. I do loads of different things. I don't know if I do any of them all that well, but I'm always giving stuff a go and trying to follow through with the various endeavours I do.
But there's this big definitely techno. The technological strand in what you do. So like you were telling me you went to this big the industry conference in Berlin.
In Berlin, yeah. So I work for a company called My Volts that makes stuff for electronic musicians, like power supplies and cables and things. And that afforded me the opportunity to travel to a few different places. And the synth show in Berlin, it's called Super Booth.
Yeah.
And I went there with Gary, who's my partner in crime. I called him my second in command yesterday. He fucking wouldn't like that. I'm allowed to swear.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. Phew. Okay, I should have asked that at the start.
Yeah.
He's not my second in command. We're even Stevens, but he runs Bloop Group, which I'm sure you'll talk to me about as well with me. But we went to Berlin and worked at it, but also hung out at it too. And we were very inspired by the electronic music scene and young people hanging out with older people, queer people, straight people, people from everywhere getting together over shared love of music. You know, someone of 60 and someone of 20 talking about electronic music, making music.
So the company you work for creates plugins and...
Plugs and accessories to make you be able to take your music on the move and to solve the problems of the electronic musician. But that moved me into a place where I got a lot of exposure to the electronic music community and the people in it. And then I just became super into the people, music, all of it. It's just loads of, like you're at a trade show like Super Booth, and every person there is doing something fascinating, either from their kitchen table or they're the head buyer for the biggest musical instrument shop in Poland. Everyone is consumed with music and it's just gorgeous. I love it.
And it sounds like everybody's making music and everybody is a creator. And there's that lovely strand. Because I guess one thing I feel about the era we live in is that there's a passivity that we're being sold, that we are consumers. There's the producers and the consumers, particularly in the creative world. Whereas I think everybody is creating.
Everyone making and doing. And that's what, so Bloop Group is a monthly night that we run, and it's
you set up Bloop
we set it up after actually we were in Bristol, which is another inspiring city, again at a trade show, and again met loads of people, and we met this gang called Bleep Club in Bristol, and this guy Marcus runs it, and he's a total legend. And it's people come together and they plug in their hardware boxes together, boxes by like Korg and Electron, modular synths. You're like, oh, I'm gonna fucking play what
when you were saying this, I'm feeling this rising energy of I want to know all about it. I want to know everything about it.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting.
Well, we'll be running workshops for people who are fascinated but clueless. That's our next strand of workshop. People who go, I want to know what a sequencer is or a sampler is, but right now I haven't got a clue. I like music and I like dancing, but what is any of this?
And you know when people can hear a tune in the head, you probably can translate it easier with electronics.
Absolutely. Well, of course, you're a musician, of course, Anne. But you play guitar, play ukulele. Do you play piano?
I do, but I plonk around all of them. I know all about music, and I know about chord structures and keys and the way things fit together. But
this is a different world.
But I am not an instrumentalist. But I hear things, and I was always writing songs in the Nulas where I would record the melody, and I'd come in with the melody and the lyrics and have it all. But I wouldn't have been a great instrumentalist. And having worked with superb instrumentalists, you do begin to know where you you lack.
Yeah.
But I that's why this area fascinates me. For people who have that creativity without maybe being an instrumentalist, you can create brilliant
Yeah, and you make stuff on a drum machine and layer it up with a bass line and, put everything you want, sample from other songs. And you can do it in a low-cost way using just your phone, or you can spend hundreds of thousands of quid on gear, and there's everything in between, And where in Blue Group, the people who come along, some of them have loads of gear, some of them have no gear. They bring gear, some people come without gear. And we're all just...
And do they network, and do you set up...
God. They're better, like people are best friends now.
Okay, when is the next Blue Group? Because I'm coming.
So you're like...
Sorry. Sorry.
No, it's funny. I love it. It's like there's the passion, right? Our next event is the 16th November.
What day is that?
It's a Sunday, right?
I'm there.
Exactly. And it's only up the road from you. And it's our year anniversary. So it's nearly 1 year since we started.
Where is it?
It's in the playground in Rialto, which people don't know this space. It's just right in the canal. It's in a little tiny industrial estate. And they have a podcast studio, recording studios, dance studio. It's this community space run by artists, and they have the best, they have this photography studio where you can drive a car into it. It's amazing. And they're just getting this live event space up, and they were hammering nails and painting and stuff when we went to see it a couple of weeks ago, but it'll be finished by the time
So it's the first anniversary of Blue Group on the 16th of November.
Yeah.
What time?
So it's 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock. And actually kids can come between 5 and 7, and then they can fuck off and we can have cans. But we want people to bring.
Yeah, you know what happens when kids come along? Adults are going, I'm hearing this, and they do a bit, and then kids come in and they're better than everybody.
Oh yeah,
kids are so, their creativity.
Because they're not scared.
They're not scared.
They're not scared by the equipment.
And their brains are fresh.
I know, those delicious fresh brains. We can eat their brains and get some of their life force.
Yeah, kids are so brilliant. Sometimes I think that the brilliance of youth is suppressed a bit in the way, you can't, go out and start your career when you're 17. And I look at 17-year-olds and I go, yeah, if you tell them you're mature, get out there and do what they could. I think it's such a waste of that magic energy.
You develop confidence by doing, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do in Blue Group as well. There's people there who've never played live music in front of anyone in their lives. There's this, this guy Jack, and he never played, and he was fucking deadly. And then there's people who are 55. He used to DJ and play music in the 90s and the early zeros. They're having their life and career, and they're coming back around and into music. So it's the full spread of everything in there in that room, encouraging each other and coming together over something. There's enough in this world, right, that divides us. I'm so much more interested in the things that make us the same than the things that make us different.
That's my philosophy in what I do.
Yeah.
This is why we're pals.
Yeah,
I am totally aligned with you on that. So what happens in Blue Group? Anybody can just come along either with their equipment or whatever, or with nothing, and they're just interested, and they go and they talk to people and they find out.
Hang, jam, play is the sort of ethos of it.
Now, that's a brilliant
slogan. Gary made that up. It's deadly, right?
Hang, jam,
play.
Trademark.
Yeah, right. That's the usual sequence of it. For our event on November 16, it's more like a gig. But you'll be able to come along.
Oh, it is a gig, is it?
It's like a gig. There's 20 people playing. It's all about collaboration. So people playing together, so plugging their gear in together, and they have to get a setup on its feet together. And there's people who are friends now who didn't know each other 6 months ago, and now they're pals. They've made friends.
In your networking between Bristol and Berlin and all over the world with the company you work for, you've met incredible people like Steve Davis. Steve Davis.
Well, Steve, people don't know this, but some people don't know and some people do. Steve Davis, world famous snooker player. He actually typifies the apex of what I think is special about this scene. He's in his, mid-60s, and he is so youthful and passionate. He makes music and he's a DJ. He makes electronic music. But he's also very supportive of the scene in his locale in Bristol.
Is that where you met him?
Yeah. And he just comes along and does stuff with people. He's just completely of the people,
Wow.
And he's completely inspirational, and he's just a lovely guy.
You've hung out with him.
I hung out with him a few times now. I saw him a few weeks ago in Bristol, actually. But the first time I met him, my dad died actually almost a year ago now is when my dad died. We did the first Blue Group like 2 weeks after my dad passed away. And my friend Willie, who knew that my dad was sick, went to me, "Oh, how's your dad?" And I was like, "He's dead." I was at Big Group. I wasn't minimizing it. It was just so fresh. I was still sort of, a bit.
Death is so absurd in the absoluteness of it.
Yeah,
you're gone. That it is almost.
You can't believe it sometimes.
You can't believe it.
I'm still going, I'll just knock up to me dad. And I'm like, nope.
You won't forever and ever.
Yeah. It's sad. And even though he was very ill, he was like 82 when he died. But that...
Which is, we were talking about that, how now old is young, really.
I know, yeah.
When you say 82,
82.
I do go only 82.
Yeah. That's because you're... Do we know how old you are? Do we allowed to
I'm
say?
pushing the big 6. I can't believe it. In my heart, I'm in, I would say, late 30s.
Oh my God, yeah.
Are you?
I'm 50 in 6 weeks. So yeah, I know. But I'm like, I'm 32. I'm totally, 32.
That's so funny. Well, I'm your age. I'm a bit older than you, but I feel such a simpatico with you. I think
we're aligned. But Steve Davis, come here to me. So I was in Berlin, and someone texted me and went, actually my friend Gaz texted me and he went, "Hey, come out, we're here with Steve Davis in the bar in Kreuzberg." So me and Gary went out. Steve Davis in front of me. Now I had corresponded with him a bit before by email. I'd sent him some stuff like cables and things in the post, but he was so sound. And the first thing I did is I bought him a pint, and I bought him a pint because I wanted to say to my dad, Steve Davis, I bought him a pint. Because I knew my dad would love if Steve Davis bought me a pint, but he'd be more impressed that I bought Steve Davis. I was all, fucking right, you bought him a pint. It was very important. But we drank the place dry as well. He's, he knows how to hang and have a laugh, and he's just real sweet. And he's a deadly musician as well.
That is amazing. And as a musician, would he have been an instrumentalist when he was a snooker player?
Honestly, I don't know.
Or is he an instrumentalist? Or is he coming from the sampling and putting things
excuse me. He's an he plays like EDM. He's an electronic musician, but he's also a DJ. So I actually
didn't know that.
I don't even know how it crossed over the snooker.
Yeah.
He's the spirit of this thing. He's like, he's youthful, and in a way that has nothing to do with his age. It's his outlook, and he's so expansive and kind.
And is he going to come to a Blue Group?
I hope so, and that's something that we would like to set up.
So Blue Group is kind of setting up a network in Dublin, really. You're doing it, and there must be...
There's loads. Well, there's like 120 people like in our sort of network who at least come to one, and that just, or 140, that just grows all the time. So our event is like once a month, and about 40 people come to it. But now we have the capacity. We don't have the capacity for more, but we have to have more because the demand is there. Yeah. People want to come along. There's people, as I say, we want to workshops for beginners, and workshops for people who like this DIY workshops where you solder together modules. And we had a guy from Berlin came over, and he did a little workshop where you made an instrument just before the last Blue Group. And he's like a lovely guy. And then he had a little talk about what he makes. And then he played music. He's incredible. That's actually on our YouTube channel as well. You can
So you have a Blue Group YouTube channel.
Yeah. We've 52 subscribers. So everything starts somewhere. Everything starts somewhere, right? Like
Caroline, after this goes out and saying you're looking at 60
57.
60 or 70. Come on.
Like
2 at least.
Yeah. Everything has to start somewhere. And that's the thing. You can't wait for things to be right or everything to exactly be in place.
If people want to go to this, where do you sign up to go to Blue Group on the 16th?
We've got it's on Eventbrite, but if you go to bluegroup.com, there's a link straight through to the Eventbrite tickets. We are we're on Instagram, but I don't know. I'm not great at Instagram. I don't feel a natural. Me and you've talked about Instagram.
Yeah, I use Instagram a lot for my promoting what I do, and it can become all consuming, and I don't really like that because my passion is real engagement with real people.
Yeah.
And,
It has its place,
It
right?
has its place.
And I acknowledge that I should be more aware and I should be using it more, because even if people hear about something, there's a lot of people who the first thing they do is look at Instagram, and if something looks dormant or inactive, they might go, oh well, they're not probably.
Well, it's actually so handy to use because you can just put up a little reel or something when you're doing anything, and that's why people like it. It's so easy and it's so quick.
Yeah, that's, I got to get into the headspace of that. You know?
So before you started working for the company that connected you into all this, did you have an interest in electronic music? Was this a passion that was always there?
Do you know, it wasn't really, because like, well, I did play music a lot when I was younger. I used to be in like punk and hardcore bands in like, you know, the 90s and the zeros, playing math rock and this type of thing.
What?
Math rock. What? Do they still have math rock? Like maths without an S on the end. But it's like...
Math?
Yeah, it's like, you know...
What is math rock? I never heard of it.
It's like complicated, often instrumental. People like Don Caballero and this type of thing.
And you played that? So
Yeah.
were you into complicated... I can't even say the word. Were you into complicated instrumentals?
Back in the day. It seems funny now. That seems like a different person, you know. But learning off these really long, meandering bass lines and like full of stops and starts and very staccato, quiet, loud, quiet, and... you know, impossible to dance to, basically.
Yeah,
and this is
really difficult to play.
Oh,
and so
me.
the focus...
So kind of anti-music.
Yeah, but it was, you know, once, like anything, once you were in the world, you understood it. And the fact that it was so staccato and undanceable was exciting. You know?
And that kind of suits...
The principle's the same, just going back to things like Kraftwerk and the German kind of synth music that came in and was, again, not against, but different too.
Yeah, this was like... it was purposefully almost challenging.
And there was a scene in Dublin, was there? There was
quite a big scene.
What was the name of your math rock band?
Like, I'm sorry.
Algorithm.
I'm kind of embarrassed to be talking about this. I was in a band called Tucker Sweet, and we played with like Pavement and Truman's Water and bands that I really liked in the 90s. And we were supposed to support No Means No. And we didn't. I can't remember why. But there was the guitarist went to Germany to see his girlfriend, so we didn't get to support No Means No, which I was super fucked off about. But he's actually come back into my life. Brian Goff was the guitarist in that band when I was fucking 17, and he was in Boot Group because he teaches in NCAD, which is only up the road from where we have our events. Yeah. So it's funny. It's bringing people back into my life who are sort of...
And it's bringing the music back, which is where you started.
Yeah, totally. Because, so there's a little sort of circular element to this.
And it's interesting, like the music is there, but that you've got a real sciencey maths brain, don't you? What was the degree you went to UCD to do?
So I did experimental physics in UCD.
Experimental physics?
Yeah. And then for a while, like I worked, I was a teacher for FOSS. I used to teach like HTML in the 90s. And so I did techie things. I used to work being the person who fixed all the computers in a print company. Like I was the person who crawled under the desk.
That's what I really like that. You're in this, it's kind of, you'd almost call it nerd space. But you're, as a woman, like you were saying, when you go to Germany to that conference, or that's... is it predominantly male?
No, there's not very many women in the space in which I work.
Yeah.
And I suppose that makes me a little unusual in that space. But I don't know, is that a barrier or does that give me access? I suppose in a way it's both. Yeah. But I only know how to be me. I don't know how to be anyone else. Yeah. So I've done. People remember who I am. I know that much. Yeah. And I find it super easy to talk to people anyway. So like I worked behind a desk and with databases and not out front at all. I started going out in front of people only really a few years ago, and then I realized that's kind of where I want to be, is talking to people and communicating.
That communication space.
Yeah, just like looking someone in the face and having the crack.
What I like about your maths brain is and the way you engage is that I would be very kind of all over the place or whatever, and you would sometimes go, "What are you saying?" or "Shut up," or "That's ridiculous," or or
You said in mathematical terms.
no, I guess it's the either or, the
That's the logic.
the digital, and I love that about you. And also, you know, we both had big pivots in our lives during lockdown, and I remember at the time I used to talk to you about, I was really lost about what my next iteration was going to be, and you were always suggesting logical things to do. I remember I did a kind of Zoom thing with a friend of yours who helps guide people in bringing their intuition about what they want to do into focus.
Oh yeah.
So what I ended up doing in that situation was just doing, she was going, well, just draw pictures of what you see, and it was just all big blobs, blue and green.
Yeah.
But
Did that guide you?
yeah, it
probably unblocked.
It was about peace.
It unblocked something.
And it was about organic, and it was, yes, but I just love that about your approach to things. That I will get overwhelmed by things and go, oh, woe is me, there's no way. But you go step by step, logical. You have that brilliant.
You just got to put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, one foot, do the next thing. This logical.
I wasn't always so like. I guess you know, we big pivots in lockdown, and you know, I had to look at some things in my life that really weren't.
You had been in a very long relationship and it ended, and in that relationship you probably felt that's going to be forever because you guys were brilliant together.
Yeah. Yes.
But you managed to and that was really heartbreaking.
That was hard. I suppose that was that was the summer of 2020. So it was a few months into like lockdown and everything, and the relationship I was in came to a close for reasons, and I was standing on the street and I had I had nowhere to live. I had. You know,
I remember.
It was like a 30-year relationship, but sometimes.
So you got together when you were a teenager?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
And it's, you know, we lived together a very long time, and I think, you know, I'm probably not the only person who finds themselves that they're like housing is tied to a relationship, and they can't imagine, like, how do you leave the stability, with the perceived stability of something, to go on and do something else and pivot and thrive, when you feel like your stability is in something. Like my hand was, you know, I didn't, the decision kind of had to be made. But then when I was standing on the street with like my fucking yoga mat and really, honestly, not that much else, I was like, okay, well, where do I go? What do I do? And I had a good network of friends and people I could talk to and people who give me a hand. And I found somewhere to live.
I remember you telling me about that time that you really connected you to what a brilliant network of friends you had, and how those friends valued you, that so many of them would go, come, here's the place.
That like I couldn't believe that was meant everything to me. People helped me, like I fell backwards and there was people to catch me, you know. And I had more real conversations in the months following that than I had in my whole life. You know, and when I was able to go, do you know what? My life's in a fucking jocker. There was many people who were able to hold up their hands and go, oh, me too. Like that bit of vulnerability when, you know, walking around pretending to be perfect all the time is fucking exhausting. And it doesn't work and it's ridiculous. But if you can actually go, I'm having a hard time, and connect with people over that, like it's liberating.
But you literally press restart on your life at that time.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and look at me now.
Yeah, but you built it all back together. It's
I would say it's better than it's
I mean,
it
was a really tough time.
It was. Yeah. Remember you came over to my he came over to my house. You did your show in my kitchen.
Oh yeah. Oh, because I was trying to write this menopause show with Paul, and I couldn't visualize doing it on stage, and it was in that lockdown space where you're almost locked in.
Yeah.
And I was
locked in syndrome.
You know, I was going, I have to start visualizing being able to, why is my voice on stage? Like me and Paul used to go into spaces where we could work and we'd begin and I'd burst into tears and go, I don't know my voice. We
Yeah.
can't do this.
Yeah.
That kept happening.
Yeah.
And I did the show for you in the kitchen.
My
kitchen table. I went, here it is. But no, but it was so...
I was in there like literally an audience of one.
And you were going, great, it's great.
It was fucking deadly. Like, I was pissed myself, but I felt honoured that you did the fucking show from my
but it's like
kitchen in my
each
flat.
of those, but it is like the next step, the next step,
Yes.
the next step.
That's putting one foot in front of the other.
But I didn't. It was much heavier what you went through, but I did feel that I had the sense of being in a hole at the time and digging myself out, and that it was possible somehow.
Yeah, and when you connect with people, and we all, like, I don't think anyone's life is perfect, but you can actually genuinely fix your problems by expressing them to people. And not that everyone's trying to solve everyone's problems all the time, this is what you should do. That can be super annoying. But even giving people the space to express themselves and go, it sucks. It can free something. But also it can free up the blue and green in you.
Blue and green, but you one thing, you such a logical way of dealing with stuff, like you're big into journaling.
Oh, fuck, I'm still a mad journaler, Yeah. Journaling is so great because you can look back on it and go, oh, because you can think that you felt a certain way about something. But when you journal about it in an honest, authentic manner, you can't hide the lies from yourself. There's no point telling your journal, I had a lovely day today. You have to be
Is journaling like morning pages? You know them.
I do know the morning pages.
Morning pages was this artistic idea that, to unblock or to find where you're going, that you get up in the morning and just with no judgment write 3 pages.
Yeah. It's like that.
Is journaling more focused?
It's more about yourself. I find, like, you can do journaling from prompts or whatever. I just like to just go, bleh. So maybe it is more like the morning pages.
But it's less about creativity and more about yourself, examining yourself.
How you're feeling. Yeah, how you're feeling.
But through that process, did you find a way into your creativity?
Yeah, I suppose. Though
at one point you were going to write a book.
I got kind of...
And you were talking to an author we both know.
Yeah. And she really helped me. Deirdre really helped me put together like a book proposal. And I actually had something reasonably solid, but I felt like I still had a lot of work to do on myself before I told everyone my life story, literally. And there was a few things that I had to sort out. Now, I know you want to talk to me a little bit at this, but this is one thing that was like big on my to-do list for my whole life, which was I had a debilitating fear of flying for a long time. And like, I remember putting that book proposal together, and it was like, I was trying to find the beginning, middle and end of my journey up to that point, aged about 46 or let's say. And I was like, no, this story is ongoing because that big boulder that's in front of me, I haven't pushed it out of the way yet.
It wasn't just the fear of flying. I remember we were talking about taking a journey somewhere and you went, I don't think I'm getting the train.
Yeah.
It was a fear of, it was a profound fear of travel, and a big thing about flying, which was beginning to impact your work too.
It was impacting so many parts of my life. And I hid and lied and maneuvered a lot of my life around it for a long time, and probably hurt people in my life that I loved and loved me. And then I kind of admitted to it, and I had several years of just this fucking shame, Everyone's always just going, oh, when are you going on holidays? What are you doing with your, like...
Well, I remember you telling me once, explaining to me, we went for a swim. Do you remember?
Did we go to Sea Point?
Sea Point, you were explaining to me, and I had never met anybody who had that issue before.
Okay.
And I could see how blocking it was.
Yeah.
But you did, this is your physics, sciencey brain. You went, there has to be a logical way to deal with this. So you did.
I got it. Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Well, I was like, okay, I have to sort this out. It's not going away by itself, right? Like, I think that's one thing you have to kind of realize in life. When the things that kind of resolve and the things that do not resolve. This was not resolving. So I went, there's a place you can go, there's like these fear of flying courses. I didn't even like typing the words fear of flying into something. I found it so confronting, I didn't even like looking at an airplane. Like, it was really debilitating. So, but there was this course in Leixlip that you do, and there's like a little airport out in Leixlip, I think. And you go and you do course, and then you sit in this like, simulator of an airplane. And it's like the flight from Dublin to Manchester, and you sit there and you sort of do the flight from Dublin to Manchester, and there's a cockpit and you look out the window and stuff. And I was like, that's great. But it was kind of like college or school. You can just sort of fake. And you can go, that's brilliant, I'm great, I did that now.
And then somebody goes, nah, let's go to Manchester.
Well, if they did, I would have had a fucking heart attack. But I remember even getting the bus on the way home, I got sort of shaky on the bus because I didn't like the bus. Like I had a lot of issues, as you mentioned, around that. It's like, it was a phobia sort of about small spaces, it was about not being able to escape. There was so many layered up things about it. It wasn't an airplane crashing into the side of a mountain. That wasn't it at all.
Yeah.
And when I just learned more about it, I learned that a lot of people aren't afraid of a plane crashing. It is the being in a small space. That's the challenging thing for not just me, many people. But I did this thing in leak slip and I was like, that didn't help me at all. But the woman who's running this psychiatrist, I thought she was fantastic. There was a pilot guy, there was this psychiatrist woman, and I reached out to her and went, I'm still not getting anywhere with this. Could you take me on as a patient? And she said, I don't have any space, I've no room. And I kind of badgered her about it. And eventually she took me on as a patient.
Can you say who she is or she?
I don't think she's practicing anymore, so I'm not going to say she is.
Yeah.
People could reach out to me and ask me.
Yeah,
but
you did say she was phenomenal.
She was phenomenal. And I felt so understood. And I'd done therapy before, but this, and I'd sort of faked my way through therapy, which anyone who's been to therapy probably know what I'm talking about. We can make the right noises and you can say the right things.
Yeah.
And she just fucking didn't let me away with anything, And she talked to me about loads of things, but went, okay, there's loads of things we could get into here. But I had booked a flight to Sheffield for a trade show and for Synthfest 2023.
Yeah.
And she went, we have to get you, or it was 2022, she was like, we have to get you on that plane. So let's park your deeper issues and do we 5 weeks to get you on a plane.
She cured your fear of flying in 5 weeks. Yeah. Well, you cured it with her.
With her help. But like I was so bad, I couldn't get on the air coach. You know what I mean? The fucking air coach. I remember getting on an air coach and I just like feeling shaky. Only to get on the air coach and like at the other end and just come straight back to my flat. Like I had this.
But did you get on that flight?
Yeah, to Sheffield.
So how did that?
We just we kind of took baby steps. But there was all these different modalities around. How frightened are you when you think about it? What's your anxiety level? There was just a lot of examination. There was feeling. It was about like somatic feeling in your body. She didn't get into any of the
source of it.
No, she just went, let's park. And even saying, let's park the source while we get you on that fucking plane really helped me because I'm a logical person. So I went, okay, well, we have an endpoint here. Let's just work the steps. And we worked these steps together, And I did get on that plane. And what
was that like?
I was with Gary and he thought I wasn't even going to get on it. But like, it was because I hadn't been on a plane in 1999. So 1999, I flew to New York and back. I had to take a Xanax to do it. And then I didn't travel at all till the end of 2022, I think it was.
And does Gary have nail scars in it?
I was like, because the last time I've been on a plane, it was a real nice experience. Like it was an Aer Lingus flight to New York, and we had loads of room and stuff, and it felt like you wore something nice on the plane and everything. And I was like, everyone just looks like they got out of fucking bed, and it's like a Ryanair bus, And it was pissing rain, and you're walking up the steps, and I said, what the fuck is this?
I know. In the interim, flight travel has turned into below coach. Yeah, I mean below getting on a coach.
It was
below National Express.
And now like the happy part at the end of all of this is that I've maybe taken 20. I've been on a plane 20.
Well, it's opened up your whole life. But I'm fascinated. You did that. How?
Just like there was some. And then I extended it and I got on that plane to Sheffield and I felt like it was something I could do once and I wasn't sure if I could even do it again. It was sort of a one-time.
When you were in Sheffield, were you was it in the back of your mind, I have to get on a plane back?
A little bit. And actually I was a bit freaked out about it. But then there was also there was a train strike, and you have to get a train from Manchester to Sheffield. It's only like 50 minutes or something. But there's actually a train strike, and you have to get like connecting buses, just like the bus, 6 hours to get back to the airport. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to be able to do this. And you know what? I was able to do it because...
Were you using tools she'd given you?
Yeah.
Tools
around breathing, tools around having like a little bit of something nice to smell, a piece of lavender, tools around grounding yourself. But breathing, I know it's so obvious, but like breathing is so fundamental. If you can learn to breathe, you can breathe properly in a way that's full and grounding and grounds your nervous system. Like, you can do anything. And like, I'm a trained yoga teacher, so I thought I knew that. I didn't really know it until I practiced it and lived it.
After you got on the flight to Sheffield, did you go back to this psychologist? Did you work there?
Well, actually, she stopped practicing. So, but she recommended a colleague of hers, and then I saw her for, like, I still see her occasionally, actually.
And did you go to the root?
Yeah, I did. I did the internal family systems. I did real horrible work around, patterning in my life, things that had been holding me back, that continue to hold me back, my ways of coping, my ways of dealing. She contextualized me. I put myself in the context of my own life, and stop being a supporting character in my own life, which I always feel like.
But was it painful to go back? Because you'd pretty tough childhood with your mum and...
Yeah, my mum was, looking back now, I see she was ill, but like at the time it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like...
Well, it's your normal and you don't know anything else.
Yeah, and you just feel like you've a worse time than everyone else because your mum is, a fucking bitch. I can't say that, but that's how it manifests, that's how it feels.
What was it with your mum, do you think?
She was, as it turns out, quite mentally ill. Looking back now, is it fucking menopause? Was it perimenopause? Was it menopause? Yeah. Like, knowing what we know now, I would say, and the timing of the issues in her life,
but some of the stuff you went through was pretty extreme, didn't you?
Stuff around disordered eating and, but like, I don't know, was it a fairly normal working class Dublin 80s childhood?
Was it?
Probably not. But
I mean, I know there's no such thing as normal, but I think you did have challenging things to do.
I did have a hard time with my mum, and it was difficult. And then she left when I was 16, and for a place where she went and had another bit of crack of life in her 50s. So that's good. There's always another, you can always go and have another go. Like, I had another go. You pivot. I never really thought about my mum pivoting.
I learned that word doing a postgrad business course. Pivot. Iteration.
I'm doing a postgrad business course. You went to Trinity, didn't you? Yeah, I'm starting in
Trinity.
Yeah. The end of this week.
In their Tangent building at the back of the campus.
It's at the back.
The business centre. Yeah. Amazing. Their courses are amazing.
Yeah, I'm doing.
And then you're an alumni of Trinity.
I know.
I had just started my course when lockdown began, so I had just been going through all the societies I was going to join and become a student again. And in Trinity, and I was going to have the college experience I always wanted, because I went to DCU, NIHE, not knowing anything about the college, and went, oh, this isn't the university.
It's very suburban.
Uni is like Trinity, and then lockdown happened, so I never got that. You're going to have so much fun.
You did all your stuff for Zoom. What's
the course you're doing?
It's a postgrad certificate in innovation and enterprise development.
Yeah, it was a similar one I did, the cultural and creative entrepreneurship.
Oh yeah,
I went into the course going, oh, for God's sake, people, you know, they're trying to teach this around the arts. Usually anything official that's said about the arts, I always find it so bullshitty because it never really reflects the reality of somebody who tries to build their honest living from the arts, i.e. bums on seats, what you take on the door, relating to the audience. There's a lot of bullshitty stuff around it. I thought this is going to be kind of rubbishy. It was fantastic.
Okay.
It was brilliant.
Deadly.
I really...
And you applied some of the things you learned?
Yeah, I think number one, my big takeaway from the course I did was really think about who you're doing the work for.
Yeah.
Really think about them. Often, from an artist point of view, you'd be going, oh, I do my work and it's me and whatever. But if you want to get out in the world and create a business, you have to think about...
You have to consider your audience.
Who are they? And then they have this word, is the word hurts. Have you heard that?
No.
What are their hurts?
Yeah.
What
Love hurts.
Yeah, what are they... What?
Like your pain points.
Hurts.
See? Hurts, I kind of like hurts. Hurts it feels very
it's not hurts.
Wounded.
It's not hurts. What are their hurts?
Yeah.
It's pain points.
Yeah.
But I remember when they first said the word pain point, I thought, oh, this is
my fucking pain point.
No, it took me a while to absorb being able to say that, but now it's in my head as an idea, and I'm always aware of that in relation to whenever I'm putting stuff out. What are the pain points of the people sitting there in the audience?
Yeah, uncomfy chairs.
Yeah, but what is the bloody effort they have made to come?
Yeah.
And so I'm so keenly aware of it that sometimes when I'm backstage before I go on to do the show, I'm overwhelmed with the responsibility of these people have paid
for the ticket.
They paid
a babysitter, bother their arse coming out.
And they're sitting there. And I see it as like walking a tightrope, and you don't want to look down, because if I let me think about that too much, the responsibility becomes... I feel such a responsibility.
Well, you see, you'll always do a good job at that, because you're not cynical, you know? You're not going, oh, these fuckers will laugh at that. And you're actually working so hard to make this funny. You and Paul continually finesse and iterate to make these shows the best they could be. Now, I've seen the menopause show, I saw it a few times. Yeah. And your latest show, Adventures in Womaning. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, Further Adventures.
Further Adventures in Womaning. Yeah. I've seen that like 3 times as well. And so I've seen them move through. So even like the first time I saw both shows, they were amazing. But by the third time of both shows, I could see how much you'd worked. There was more juice to squeeze. There was more places to tighten up.
And it's amazing with this current one, where like I must have done it 55, 60 times and we're still rewriting it. And I love that process.
That's because you're not lazy, you're cynical. You're going, I want to give these people value. They've spent X amount of money, they've spent X amount of hours. I want them to come away going, oh Jesus, that was fucking deadly, that was gas. That's what all you want, right?
But you have the same ethos. I just know from talking to you, you have the same ethos in what you do. In like, it's an integrity about how you engage with the world in every way, with everything you do professionally. And that's what I really liked about the course I did in Trinity. Because there was just one particular woman we did a Zoom with, and she just said that. She went, if you know everything about your audience and why they're there and what's going on in their lives, that is your business.
Okay, wow, I'm going to internalize that. That's great.
That was that, and that's the one. If there was one big takeaway from the whole course, it was that.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about doing that. I don't really. I don't know what it's gonna. I don't know what it's gonna be like.
And then it's the people you meet. Oh, fantastic! And everything.
Yeah. So I'm going in with like a open heart and an open mind.
And are you thinking of, is that like moving forward to doing other things? Because Bloop Group I could see.
There's many places Bloop Group could go, I think. And so and maybe one thing I have to do is me and Gary both need to talk to all our members and see what they need and what they want. Because we know what we want from it, but it's not just us now. There's some people, and there's like people who help us. Is like actually one Trinity place of Trinity meeting is Rich Duckworth he's the head of music in Trinity, and he's a bloop grouper, and he does the PA and he does the sound at every show pretty much, and it's amazing. He like brings all this amazing equipment, sets it up, and then like runs the night. The desk.
And of course, because he's involved in that in Trinity, he's probably cutting edge in his.
And he's done it all his life. He's fabulous, and he gives us that, and that is huge. So it's to be treated with such respect. This person of such prestige helps us with our event to make it better. And there's loads of people in our gang who are top notch and giving us something because they're contributing to the community. And when you're making a community, you have responsibility. You know, they're people turning up, putting something into it, and you have to make sure that what they get out, and they have a voice that's listened to as well. So like I've always wanted to make a community, and I've tried it in one way or the other, like in a kind of a stand-up comedy way. My ex is a stand-up comedian, and that's how we know each other. And like making a night, but it was never the thing for me. But this, I feel like maybe I'm just ready for it now at this point in my life to be somebody who can facilitate a community and do it with love and want to give everyone anything I can, and that comes back and they give. It's like completely circular. We're all supporting each other. You know, breaking down the gap between performance and audience is something I wanted to do in Bloop Group. You know, all the gear is at the same level and everyone's just walking around. The performer is the audience is the performer. And as such, that creativity is kind of like low stakes and everything is welcome to be put on the table.
Yeah. And I love that idea of celebrating everybody's creativity, particularly at this point, because with AI, like seeming to really move into so many spaces, I just know anecdotally it really beginning to impinge on people's jobs. And people beginning to feel, well, what is the value of a human being? And so something like this,
you can't replicate that. This is real.
It is real. And I love that you're using technology, but it's the human interface, and it's bringing the human creativity, and it's expressing and celebrating everybody's creativity. And it's empowering. It's empowering for people to feel they can do that. Like I could see that working in so many spaces, like to bring it into schools and in mental health scenarios. It's just a wonderful thing.
We're like, we like to run more workshops, like even like a kind of appreciation of electronic music, like understanding what it is, hearing it in the songs that you like and give a shit about. There's so much potential in it in many ways. So that's something we're sitting down and looking at carefully to find out what our community needs and wants. Actually, at every level. You know.
Just on that, where does AI interface with that whole world?
I'm one of these sort of AI deniers. Not deniers,
really?
But
that's fascinating.
I mean, I was using ChatGPT. I was paying for ChatGPT for a few different things for a few months there. And when I saw, like, it talks a good game, doesn't it? The fucking robot. But actually, when you
sometimes when I use it as Google, and sometimes when it gives us stuff, I'm just to the point of going, thanks very much.
But
you just begin because it's so good.
Except when it tells you stuff that's bollocks.
It's not so good.
So
it can have its moments.
I find
it needs to be shepherded all the time.
It needs to be shepherded all the time, but I find what I like it as is a search engine. If I'm writing something, it's always a human creativity first for me. But if I'm researching something or I'm trying to remember a quote from a whole novel and have an idea, you can find it quicker.
For a specific task, absolutely, it's useful as a kind of a research assistant. But you may have to think of it as almost like a novice research assistant who might occasionally
That's
get
what
things
I
wrong
think.
and needs to be sort of checked.
Yes.
If that's super important, you got to fucking check it
But
again.
isn't that the fear, Caroline? People don't do that. They don't manage it. They just go, off you go.
Yeah,
And
and
then they
they
don't do any thought process.
you're
around it.
right. You're correct because it sounds so authoritative.
You can hone it down. Like I know somebody who recently graduated and they were disappointed with the mark they got, and somebody else in their class who, got all the prompts right. Let ChatGPT write their
GPT.
write their thesis.
I mean, yeah, but did they learn? And
Yeah, that's it. And but then the question is, will it fucking matter? Like when you read about it, like the future coming down, I think there is a whole vision in the tech industries of where they want to see humanity, and it's almost going into a feudal space where you have the technocrats and people who are really engaging with that are going to be the super class, and they're going to be electronically enhanced, and the idea is it's going to be electronic implants in human beings, and that we're all going to be directly interfaced.
My little Philip K. takeover.
No, but I didn't read science fiction when I was a kid, but this is stuff I'm reading now, and
if that happens,
so I'm very interested.
It'll
I'm
play out,
fascinated that you're you come from a background of experimental physics, and you have the maths brain, and you're totally engaged in electronics and everything, and you're brilliant with computers and all that, but
I'm just holding my powder dry. I don't know. And I'm probably in denial. I am 50 after all. I'm one of these people who's like
I think we're okay.
Thinks it's a fad.
I think it more impinges on the younger generation.
Possibly, but like
it definitely will impinge on their work.
Yeah.
You read about it all the time, certainly in research spheres and in all sorts of spheres. It's really programming.
Yeah. I was tooling around making like this app, and I used I can't remember which environment it was, and I put in like a one-line prompt, and it made me like a deadly app, and it was like exactly what and I was like, fuck, wow. And now to finesse it was that some work, but I was going, this is very powerful. But that's like I don't know, that's slightly different to the creative space. You still have to have the kind of creative ideas.
Yeah, this is it.
The implementation was sort of taken care of.
That's why, I mean, it's like finding the space where you do something where, like, that's why I love what I do, because no robot, it's too nuanced to create a voice of expression in comedy. It's too nuanced.
Well, you've seen jokes that come out of it. They're shy.
Yeah.
And like you look at that and you go, well, I'm safe for a while, right?
Yeah, I'm safe till
I
die at 119. we're gonna live forever.
A young woman of 119.
That's what it's gonna be.
What it's gonna be.
Yeah. Where are you from originally in Dublin?
I am from Santry. On the way to the airport. Santry, one of my name's Caroline Swords. People always thought I was from
Swords.
People still say it. Because the Swords Road goes through Santry.
Yeah. There's something else I just wanted to bring up. You were saying an interesting, I was just chatting to you before we started this about accommodation, because you just said that when your relationship ended and where you lived was tied to the relationship, you were suddenly homeless in your mid-40s, and you've just given that place about, and I think it's really timely for so many people.
Yes,
you were telling me your philosophy.
I suppose like I was tying kind of my next steps to sort of stable housing, you know. So I live in a flat in Rathmines, but like many people who are renting, it's tough out there. I got a good deal to run my network, but like you worry about what's going to happen with your rental. And I don't really have a backup plan. There's hardly any rentals, and what there are incredibly expensive. But I was kind of I was waiting for a stable housing situation to do some projects and get some stuff on its feet. And I realised that I could be waiting forever if I was aiming for that. So I have kind of decoupled my life from the concept of stable housing. And that sounds terrifying to like a lot of my friends who are, in their like 50s and have a different kind of situation than I do, have been in stable relationships for a long time, dual income, middle class lives, That's not my experience. And my experience there's probably a lot. Well, there are a lot of people like me, but I also have sort of some of the problems of a 25-year-old as well, even though I'm almost 50 now.
Yeah.
And that it's something that's not really talked about. Stable housing or no stable housing for people who are a bit older, and I think there's probably a lot of people walking around in shit relationships, but their housing is reliable because of the basis of that relationship. And I'm talking, like, I've only kind of accepted this very recently, like the idea of saying that
you're going to get on and do what you need to do
regardless.
And regardless.
Yeah, you kind of have to, So I don't really know what the future holds for me, housing wise, but I still have my life to live, and I have to use the resources that I have to enact what's important in my life, and it probably just can't really revolve around.
And it can't revolve around you going, well, this tenancy isn't secure long term, and you just have to go, okay, it's here now.
Or do you just save your money for a deposit, like saving money for a deposit for what? For what? For something that may never happen. Do you live now, age 50, and decide what to do with your resources as you have them? Or do you just try and shore up forever for some crash that may never come, or to eventually buy a house? Like, can you even get a mortgage when you're 50? I don't even know if you can.
I just can't believe the situation we're in Ireland with housing.
It sucks.
Because it's government policy, because I just feel there's a landlord class in power, and they are just shoring up the value of property by their policies or their lack of policies. And it is the most basic human right to have affordable housing, and it compromises people's creativity and their choices in life, right down to the most basic, even having kids, if there is no access to housing. And there is I just can't believe the situation we have allowed to evolve in Ireland, and young people leaving the country because there's no place to live. And there doesn't seem to be any choice of anybody to vote for when it comes to can you do anything about it?
I think right now it feels like musical chairs, and if you were standing up, you're fucked. That's my but I'm having a sunny disposition on it, and
that's what I love about you.
Anyway, you gotta live, right?
Even when you were like on the floor after the end of your relationship and everything, you were always so positive. Like, I remember you being in bits, and I was feeling a bit down about. I was in such a hole about trying to get a show and pivoting what I was doing. You always cheered me.
You're like at least I'm not that poor fucker.
No, it wasn't that. Like, I'd go around to you and you'd always cheer me up. Well, you have such a positive disposition.
I was feeling liberated as well,
Yeah.
Like, I'm 44. I was 44, like, in good health.
Yeah.
Pals, a job. Like, there was lots of stuff to be doing and getting on with, Yeah. I didn't even let lockdown affect me. I was living my life and doing like acting classes and
that's right.
I was doing loads of shit.
Yeah.
I was having a great time. So there's always a way. You can accept the things that you have and leverage them as best you can. Or you can spend time future faking myself. I did that for a long time. Future faking myself.
What's future faking?
Like, imagining a future that was never coming, that I wasn't really taking steps towards. It was like, it was almost like toxic hope.
Yeah, that was when you were in the situation before.
Yeah, just sort of, it'll all work out in the end. But not really taking steps towards it, you know?
For an album, Toxic Hope.
Toxic
Or
Hope.
a track.
Yeah, you're going to rob that now.
No.
Don't tell you what.
Toxic Hope. And that is if ever there was an electronics music track, that's it, Toxic Hope.
Yeah. Ooh, you've come on to Blue Group and make that happen. But but it's, it's all working out, and I could be hit by a bus tomorrow, but at least I like to think I'd make the bus go a tiny bit slower when it hit me. No, that's not a very nice thing to say. But I think I'm finding who I am now all the time. I think it's never too late, right? To find.
I think that is, you know, a huge positive thing from you, because it was really tough. You just repivoted your whole life in your mid-40s and were reborn.
Reborn. You too, you know?
Yeah, I was. But when I was older.
Yeah.
I had been, in the carrying out the Nualas, and knowing for I would say about 5 years before the Nualas finally ended, I needed to do a show on my own and needed to break out and do my own thing, and it took me so long.
Yeah.
And I feel that I only came into what I really should be doing in the last 4 years.
And it took the time it had to take.
Oh,
you were ready when you were ready.
The only way round is through.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, and I've such a respect for performance. I do think it can take a really long time to really learn what the hell it is.
A horse to water, but a pencil must be lead.
He's the only one laughing at that.
Podcast world, I will be breaking his shit.
Yeah,
this is what
themselves.
I'm working with.
Yeah.
No,
Good
Paul is brilliant, but
I remember I met Paul before
first,
I met
yeah.
And because I was looking back at
you met Paul through the course that he was running.
You were doing it.
When did you meet me?
Yeah. He was doing a director, a course for learning how to direct, and he needed people to act, and I was doing an acting class.
Yeah.
So I remember going out to film base and walking up and down the stairs lots of times, and I couldn't fucking act for shit, and it was horrible. But like, I was trying to push a comfort zone thing and do a solid, and you didn't care because it was just like people learning how to direct.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. You were going, you don't have to have any experience or anything. And it was like, I really pushed my comfort zone there. And it was nice engagement with Paul. And then I think maybe we went out for like coffee or something. I found an email between me and you, and I'm going, would you like to get a coffee sometime? And I'm being really formal because I was like kind of scared because I thought you were so cool. So that's what I saw today. I saw our whole relationship, you know.
That makes me laugh when people go, because I thought you were so cool, because this is the way I see myself. What? Yes, absolutely.
For those in podcast audio, and there was sort of a village idiot face is the only way I can describe that. Yeah, well, I still think
I always cry at some stage, John.
You need to squeeze a few tears out.
When it comes to wrapping up, I always feel like, no, I won't cry this time, but I do want to say that your friendship has been absolutely pivotal.
She's great at the words today, isn't she?
Now, as I go into my dotage and I can hardly find words anymore, but I am so inspired by the way you engage with the world and your super original intelligence about the way you look at things.
Thank you.
It has been super inspiring for me, and you've been so supportive, and it was fantastic to have this chat with you, and you're amazing, and I'm going to be at that Bloop group.
I should point out that Bloop group is spelled with 2 O's in group. I've just realised it's like ungoogleable. It's like Bloop, BLOOP, group, GROOP. So bloopgroup.com is where you can find what we're doing.
And when I met you, I said, oh, what's blood group?
On my t-shirt soon.
Oh, just tell us quickly about
these are Carl, who is a big blooper, and he runs the community gardens up in Cronin, the Pierce Park Community Gardens. He's one of the main guys there, and he's also a bloop grouper. And his wife Olga is the print technician in NCAD, and she brought me and Gary into NCAD, and we made t-shirts in there with print screen, and it was unbelievable experience. I've always wanted to do that, and the t-shirts came out deadly. So
I love this network of, you want to do this and you know this person.
You just know, and you can. I always thought like, oh, it's all about who you know. Was like, oh, it's terrible, it's all about who you know. Now I'm like, oh, it's all about who you know. Well, this feels amazing. Get to know more people.
But
that's
it. I mean, I feel like I have just been in a tunnel trying to write stuff, create stuff with Paul, get it out. I'm feeling this urge to really go out, because into the world.
Come out with me.
I would definitely go out. And definitely come into blood group.
Brilliant.
Caroline, thank you.
Thanks, Sam. And thanks, Paul.